It is time for sports now. Marv is here, and there is news of a management shakeup again.
Right, Chuck. The new manager of the Atlanta Braves, Chuck Tanner, hired earlier today. He was fired by the Pirates only this past Monday. Tanner replaces Bobby Wine, who took over for the fired Eddie Haas. Baseball playoffs tonight, Dodger Stadium at 8:30 here on Channel 4, Game 2 of the best of 7. It'll be Andujar going against Hershiser. The Dodgers opening last night with the 4-1 win by keeping McGee and Coleman off the bases, and the Cardinals were indeed shaky in the field. Shakiness illustrated by this drive off the bat of Bill Madlock. The usually flawless Ozzie Smith should have had it. It was generously scored a double, leading to a Dodger run. And how about this bunt by Candy Maldonado? Misplayed. Pendleton's throw hits Tudor in the back, and the Dodgers take a 3-0 lead to break it open.
We didn't execute. They did. You know, they got good pitching, and they beat us.
What does this loss do to you in the first game of the 7-game series?
I don't know anything about emotion, boys. I know we got to win 4 games, and we just come out tomorrow night and try to win.
The always philosophical Eddie Herzog. A travel day for the American League playoff. They'll resume tomorrow night in KC. Blue Jays in command 2-0, winning yesterday despite the bad call on this play. The call against Lloyd Moseby of Toronto. It appears as if Moseby made the catch. The umpire, Dave Phillips, said no, allowing Kansas City to score in the 10th, taking a 5-4 lead. From this angle of the replay, looks clear-cut. Catch made by Moseby, who had no doubt in his mind.
I'm not one to put down the umpiring pool, because I think David Phillips is one of the finest umpires in the American League. But again, in my estimation and what the cameras showed as well, I think I caught the baseball.
I'm sure that, you know, Moseby thought he caught the ball. I'm quite positive that he did. I don't think that he's an alibier in that respect. It was a crucial play. He wanted to think he caught the ball. I think he thought he caught the ball. In my opinion, he didn't.
Yes, the Blue Jays still managed to come back with 2 in the bottom of the 10th to pull it out. Well, tonight, opening night, National Hockey League, Rangers at the Garden against the Washington Caps. The Devils will be in Philly. The Islanders open Saturday in L.A. On the eve of the hockey season, the announcement from the NHL of $25,000 in fines levied against the Rangers and Flyers for that wild brawl in a preseason game at the Garden last week. No matter what the NHL does or says, the fact is fighting remains an integral part of the sport, so much so that videotapes of hockey fights are being traded throughout the country. Now, there are folks advertising in publications such as the Hockey News and getting responses from all over the nation.
Now, Maine is a place that I've never traded with before. Do you have anything at all?
Steve Ratnitz is a hockey fight collector who has culled hundreds of hours of vintage fisticuff warfare, going back to the mid-70s, including rare footage from the old WHA. The 24-year-old liquor salesman is an Islander fan from Long Island.
A lot of people say fighting doesn't belong in hockey, but I disagree with them. They have rules telling you how and how not to fight in hockey. For instance, pulling hair and headbutting and so on. It's perfectly legal. Everybody knows it. And I think if they took it out of the game, half the people wouldn't show up to the games. I really believe that, too. Or as Don Cherry once said, I don't see anybody going for a cup of coffee during a fight.
What is the best fight you have ever seen?
There are a couple, but I would have to say probably Gillies and Dave Hoyter. There was like a bench-clearing brawl. It probably wasn't the best fight, but at the time there was a lot of meaning behind it. He had taken a run at Mike Bossy, and he came in to help Mike Bossy, and he really... Dave Hoyter was a bully at the time, and he really put him in his place.
Have you come across any players that have been interested in getting some of your tapes, perhaps to use it for a clinical purpose, how to fight in the NHL?
As a matter of fact, I have, but I really don't know if I want to mention his name because...
oh, come on, Steve.
I don't think so, but I can tell you some players that we have traded with who's not in hockey anymore. Gary Howard. I get plenty of calls from players that are interested, but as I said, I'm looking to trade, and half the time they don't come through.
Could you be happy watching a hockey game that does not have a fight?
I don't know if happy is the right word, but if it was a good game and my team won and there were no fights, I wouldn't mind. But if it went on for 2 or 3 games, I guess I'd get a little frustrated.
Incidentally, Steve says the best fighter in the NHL is huge Buffalo defenseman Larry Playfair. Says the biggest bully is Jim Korn of Toronto. Jets gave up on a #1 draft pick of a year ago. Outside linebacker Ron Farreau has been cut. Bob Crable will be activated, you can be certain, by this weekend. Knicks and Nets in a preseason game at the Meadowlands tonight. That's sports. Back to Chuck and Pat.
Thank you, Marv.
Lloyd Kramer shows us what people learned from a